News time is 9 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast. Pardon me. News is brought to you today by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. Coming up in our news today, we've got a recap of the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. The Warner Library is celebrating a banner summer reading club program this past summer. There's a farmland lease workshop this week at the U of I Extension in Macon County, and August and the fall months are trending warmer than normal. Those stories today in news. But first, we stream to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The Clinton City Council voted on several topics during a brief meeting Tuesday night. The proposal for the water plant and tower improvements were passed. City Administrator Taylor Baxter says this project has been a huge undertaking. They have used all their ARPA funds, or American Rescue Plan Act funding. Now the city is approving $375,000 of additional funds for the project. That money will go towards the design so they can be approved for an Illinois EPA loan.
We've talked about this a little bit, just the massive project that this is between ARPA funding and going for a low-interest loan through the Illinois EPA. So last night we had one of our engineers, Greg Myroth from Mead and Hunt, come and talk about the water plant project and where we're at. And we have used our ARPA funding. We have allocated that funding. So this is additional funds that we're going to need for design and engineering. And that's what that was. It was a pretty substantial number, but with a $10 million project, you can imagine the engineering and design behind the scenes is going to be pretty substantial too. So I believe it's $375,000 is what it says on there for design. So that's going to complete all of the design work for this project. And we have to have that done before we submit it to the Illinois EPA to get our project readiness score as high as it can be.
Baxter says there has been progress in the South Madison Street project with motor fuel tax funds, or MFT funds, supplemental resolution for almost $15,000 that is passed on Tuesday.
MFT is motor fuel tax funds, and just like every year we have certain road projects that we do, so that's just another one to our list of getting Madison Street upgraded.
There was also a win for the Clinton Police Department Tuesday night. The council approved the purchase of two 2024 Ford Police Interceptor utility vehicles. Baxter says this process can take a while for the police department.
In talking with Chief Lowers, it's quite the process to try to get these vehicles. The state of Illinois, there's a lot of competitive bids for this, and so this has just given us the ability to purchase a couple more of those, and it's within our budget, what we've planned for, and it's just continuous. You know, we try to replace our vehicles, and so that's all that really was yesterday.
Councilman Dan Ballinger offered an update on a motion to approve new playground equipment for Kiwanis Park.
We're not going to do that this meeting. We'll do it at the next one. We're taking a look at the equipment a little closer and doing a little more legwork on it, but we'll bring it forward at the next meeting.
The City Council approved Liberty Lane resurfacing bids for just over $79,000. A proposal for an awning for Kyle and Melissa Morris at 801 Northside Square was approved, and in addition to the city's solar regulations was approved Tuesday night. Again, still to come here on this Wednesday, there's a farmland leasing workshop this week at the U of I Extension. We hear from Doug Gooker, who is the local food systems and small farms educator with the U of I Extension, and producers are already getting prepped for the harvest season. Those stories still to come this morning in news. It was a banner year for the Summer Reading Club at the Warner Library in Clinton. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, children's librarian Mel Snow told Regional Radio they had a record year for participation with over 800 readers this summer. She says they also quadrupled their program offerings over the summer.
So we got record registrants. We're very pleased. We had 804 was our total number. So we were really excited to hit 800, and when we did, we didn't think we were going to get more than that. And that 804 number, we're we're very pleased with. We had our celebration this past weekend on Saturday, and we had over 200 people. We guessed maybe between 2 to 250 people at our celebration, so that was a huge success also. It was a little hot. We were able to go inside and have pizza and air conditioning from 11 to 1, so it was really fun. We're going to be sending out a email kind of asking people what they liked and what they didn't like, so we're really excited to hear the feedback from our patrons. But we did quadruple the amount of programs compared to some previous years that we've done, and I think our numbers were really well attended for programming. So I think just getting people into the building for the programs encouraged them to continue doing summer reading and maybe sign up for things. Maybe a program brought them in instead of summer reading, and then we signed them up for summer reading because of that. So that was a big change that I noticed from last year to this year, is just the amount of programming that we did.
The theme for the library summer reading club centered around conservation, and Snow indicates that really brought the kids out. Programming attendance was also a record this summer.
We had a lot of people that enjoyed our animal programs. And since our theme was Read, Renew, Repeat, we leaned into the conservation part of that and worked with local people that had animals. So 4-H did a farm day for us, our local 4-H communities, and that was really well attended. They brought goats, they brought chickens, they brought bunnies, and then you actually got to interact with the animals and learn about how to take care of them. That was a really popular one for us. We did a Meet the Birds with the chickens and ducks. We did a Meet the Bees. We did a Reptiles of Illinois, and all of those were really well attended programs.
Sure.
I want to encourage kids to not just come in and turn in their prizes and then forget about the library. I want them to keep coming in throughout the summer and utilize what we have and know that it's a safe space for them and it's a place that they can come and hang out when it's too hot or they don't have anything to do. And I think we've really kind of established that this summer, and we've had record numbers in the building. We've had record numbers of patrons doing the summer reading, and at our programs, we've hit record numbers at our program.
Emily Dunham, Adult Services Librarian, says there was great participation from the adults in the library this summer. She focused her program themes after conservation and admits she also leaned into the craft-based and wellness-based programs.
We had a lot of adults participate this year. They were coming in, they were getting prizes. Almost all of my little tchotchkes are gone, so that means that they were getting their prizes. But yeah, overall, I got really good feedback from everybody so far, and I feel like I had a lot of adults reading this summer, so I'm very happy about that. And I had a lot of, because when you fill out your thing, it'll say what grade are you in, and I had a lot of like 6th and 7th graders reading out at the adult level, which I thought was really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I tried to get a little craftier the past 2 months. We did I went and thrifted a bunch of teacups, and we did like a fairy garden teacup thing. We had a lot of Tai Chi and yoga still, movement classes. And we did like some beeswax wrap, again, leaning into the theme of conservation. They were well attended and everyone was happy.
Wednesday will be the final day for participants of the Summer Reading Club to submit their reading logs. Snow and Dunham say it gives those who took a vacation or were not around for the official final day of the Summer Reading Club to still submit their reading logs. They note drawings for all the prizes at the library will take place later this week. Additionally, they traveled to several libraries around central Illinois to get new ideas for the Summer Reading Club, and we'll have more on that soon here on Regional Radio. Well, high school football kicks off, or I shouldn't say kicks off, but practices in the fall sports season begins on Monday, and so WHOW and Regional Radio is making the rounds with high school football coaches and other fall sports coaches and leaders, and we start some of that coverage today in sports today. Hear from first-year Washington high school football coach Todd Stevens, who will be leaning on the next wave of talented Panthers as their team comes off of an appearance in the semifinals of the Class 6A high school football playoffs last season in central Illinois. Although leasing farmland is relatively common, landowners and farmers may not give much consideration to the actual lease until problems arise. Understanding the basics of a farmland lease agreement is detrimental to reducing legal risks and ensuring farm viability. You can learn more about farmland leasing, determining a farm's productivity, and the importance of landowner-tenant communication from Kevin Brooks, a farm business management and marketing educator educator with the University of Illinois Extension, local food systems and small farms educator at the U of I Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties. Doug Gooker says the Navigating Farmland Leases program is Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon at the Macon County Extension office in Decatur.
Navigating Farmland Leases, that's going to be coming up Thursday, August the 8th from 10 a.m. to noon. It's going to be at our Macon County Extension office in Decatur. That is on Google. So the address really does show up. During the month of August and early September, I typically get a lot of phone calls from landowners wanting to know what trends are in farmland leasing. How do they determine a fair cash lease? Just exactly what is their farm worth as far as a cash lease, as far as its productivity and potential for a cash lease. And so this meeting is just kind of to help answer some of those questions. We're going to be having Kevin Brooks. He's our Extension Farm Business Farm Management educator. Kevin also was a private farm manager for people, for farmland owners. So he is very familiar with negotiating farmland leases, whether they be a strict cash lease or a flexible lease, all types of different lease arrangements. And so he's going to be our presenter since he's the expert. I'm an agronomist, so I can tell you lots of things that I read. I have very little experience, professional experience in that regard. So that's why I have Kevin coming in to talk to the group.
According to Gooker, 60% of central Illinois farmland is in some type of cash rental lease. He adds, ag has seen a shift towards the flexible lease.
The trend is right now in central Illinois, 60% or more of our farmland is in some type of a cash rental lease. And when I say some type, I mean either a strict cash lease where there is X amount of money paid per acre, whether there's a good crop or a bad crop, high prices or low prices. And then the other type of lease that we're seeing increasing quite a bit, particularly as we saw prices increase dramatically from 2020 to 2022. We had 3 years there where farmland income rose very quickly, quicker than cash rent leases did. And so we have seen a move towards the flexible lease, because it actually more accurately reflects the changes in prices and yields much, much quicker than a strict cash lease. Cash lease is very safe, which is why a number of people prefer those. But some people who are wanting to see that income increase have moved to the flexible lease. Those people that are wanting a more secure rent that they can count on over time, that tends to be the strict cash lease, because those prices tend to go up and down at slower rates and in smaller increments.
Brooks previously ran a private farm management company and will share his knowledge on setting up farmland lease agreements, including current trends in land values, cash rents, and land ownership. Again, Navigating Farmland Leases is from 10 a.m. to noon tomorrow at the Macon County Extension office at 3351 North President Howard Brown Boulevard in Decatur. Participants can register at go.illinois.edu/farmlease. You can also call the office at 217-877-6042. The deadline to register is today, and there is a $5 registration fee. It could be a warm month of August and the same for the fall months. Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates after a wet and cool July, August is trending just the opposite. Models are showing warm and dry for the month.
Above normal temperatures, which is a broken record. I mean, we've been saying that for quite a while, and that's still looking solid for the most part. I mean, August is our dog days of summer. We really get the heat and then equal chances of above or below normal precipitation, but there's a nearby above normal in southern Illinois of precipitation. So we're trending probably a little bit more closer to the above normal precipitation on the August, which is good because we can tend to get a flash drought sometimes. But with a really wet July, I think we're looking okay drought wise, and hopefully these help the most of the fields are maturing. But that's what we're looking at: warmer than normal and equal chances basically of above or below normal precipitation. Yeah, the 6 to 10 day outlook actually has below normal precip outlook. So that's from the 4th to the 8th. And it's solidly above normal temperatures. So it looks like we could have that warm and potentially drier period there, that the 4th of August through the 8th or so, as we head into the second week and start the state fair.
According to Shimon, the fall months are also trending above normal for temperatures, but the precipitation outlook is looking a little less certain.
Fall is above normal temperatures and equal chances of precipitation being above or below normal there again. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any cold snaps early on this fall. Almost all the lower 48 of the continental U.S. is above normal trends on temperatures. So
okay.
It's going to be mild.
Weather.gov/Lincoln has the latest in forecasts and all that weather data. 25 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday. Still to come, we wrap up our news, then we take a look at local sports. And again, with the fall sports season about to open up on Monday, we're starting to make the rounds here in our regional radio sports department with high school coaches of all sports. We've got football, volleyball, cross country, and the works coming your way here in the weeks ahead. And we start our fall sports coverage today previewing the Washington football program. That comes up in sports today. The Sox end a 21-game losing streak as well. We'll wrap up news and get to sports next.
Still time for summer savings at Baum Chevrolet Buick. This is Scott Baum. Our goal is to make your purchase decision easy. That's why we have our prices posted on each and every car. For August, see our summer savings posted on each Chevrolet car, truck, SUV, crossover, and EV, especially the sporty Trailblazer and the all-new Chevy Trax. As always, our Silverados are in stock and ready to work for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City, right from the start.
News time, 26 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Harvest season may be a few months away, but for some parts of the state, Kevin Raber farms in southeastern Illinois.
We got an early start here, but most people started with beans. So corn, we laugh that somebody's going to have a good corn crop because the corn, some people started with corn and it looks good. It was early. Some people planted beans first and then have later corn. And we had a little bit of shower and got rained out for a week or so. So we probably have corn planting differences around here from 30 to 45 days, maybe longer than that. So we somebody's going to have a good corn crop in there somewhere. We're just not sure which group it's going to be, but we are looking good now. We were getting a little short. We had been missing some of the rains had been going to the north and the south, but we finally did catch a good one here. I think just right after I sent in my last crop watchers report, kind of saying it was dry, we caught some good rains. So we're looking really good here right now.
And as far as the soybean crop, give us an update on that.
Soybeans are, a lot of them were planted really early. The beans look good. It looks like there's good growth on there, good pod sets on the early ones. We haven't found any disease or insect problems. So the next 30 days is going to tell them the soybeans, we have a chance for a good bean crop. I don't think corn or beans, either one, we're going to have records or bin busters, but I think we're set up for a good crop right now. The double crop beans look a little rough. I don't know what happened. They're very uneven. there's spots that came up early and spots that came up late, and the double crops are probably the worst looking beans we have in this area right now.
Raber's farm is located in Wabash County near Mount Carmel. He thinks harvest could begin in early September. An August cool-off this week is in place for much of Illinois. Cold fronts are moving through, resulting in some pleasant conditions heading towards the weekend, says DTN ag meteorologist John Baranick.
It'll be nice and cool for the weekend, too. So, even down in southern Illinois, we're looking at low 80s for the weekend. It should be a very nice, comfortable weekend. The really interesting thing about these fronts, though, not a lot of rain. Usually when you see a strong cold front, you've got a chance for some really good showers and thunderstorms to move through, but not over Illinois for today. The one that comes through on Thursday and Friday also looks like it dries up as it comes through the state, which is very interesting to me. Usually you don't see that. Not a whole lot of rain with this, but at least a significant drop in temperature.
He says traditional August heat could return, though, next week. News coverage today brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and we stream to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, local sports comes your way this morning. The Sox end a 21-game losing streak. You heard it here last night here on WHOW, and we start our preview of the fall sports season. That's next in sports.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Parts of the South continue dealing with heavy weather caused by a strengthening tropical storm Debbie. Lingering off of Charleston, South Carolina, Debbie expected to head back inland before moving north. In the New York metro area, last night's torrential rains unleashing flash flooding in some areas, including in parts of northern New Jersey. In Philadelphia, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris has held a rally to introduce her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. GOP vice presidential contender J.D. Vance describing the far-left Democrat ticket as a great tag team. Hamas has a new leader. Yahya Sinwar is the man who plotted the October 7th terror attack on Israel. On Wall Street this morning, ahead of the opening bell, stock futures are higher. The Dow futures are up 293 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 241 points. More details, SRNnews.com.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. The Washington Panthers were a win away from an appearance in the state title game of the Class 6A high school football playoffs last year. It was an experienced group led by Daryl Crouch, who coached his final game in a tough defeat to East St. Louis in the semifinals at Washington High School. Now first-year football coach Todd Stevens says that group provided a great example for the wave of next Panthers.
Well, I do think that we have some kids that, and we had some really great models last year. Our senior captains were fantastic. You know, obviously, when you've got a program and you've got 50 kids in your just on your varsity roster alone, that obviously you're trying to make sure that everybody's squared away, and really that's kind of what our captains, we kind of lean on them to do a little bit. You know, they've kind of got control in the locker room, and usually if issues get to us, then it's not going to be very pleasant. So it does take a little bit more to be a captain in our program, like it does probably many others. As far as moving forward, I think we've got some kids that, again, have been waiting their turn, and, you know, they have earned the right to start at those positions and try to see what they can do. I know that they kind of maybe felt like they were in the shadows of some of the other kids we've had in the past, but again, that's what happens when you're sitting as a junior or a sophomore behind a group of kids that's so talented at that senior level. Even speaking about last year, we were playing, when we practiced, we were playing against some of what we felt were the best players in the conference. Even though they may not have been starters, we thought that these kids on most teams probably would have started. On most of our older team or teams of the past probably would have started. So I think they were the key element preparing our first team guys, whether it be O or D, to take the field against quality opponents.
The Panthers' offense will not look much different from its time under Coach Crouch. Coach Stevens says they're still going to rely on the running game and controlling the clock.
I think for the most part, just to the, general public, the fans, it's going to look the same. Obviously, we've got some things that we have installed that may look a little different, but obviously you got to establish that run game. But we also like to set up some play action, maybe stretch the field a little bit. But, in order to win games, in order to make those deep playoff runs, you've got to establish a good run game, and I think that's going to still be our primary focus.
Coach Stevens believes the Mid-Illini and their non-conference should prepare them well for the postseason. The Mid-Illini in particular, he believes, will be very balanced with good teams, with good players up and down the area. Andrew Benintendi hit a 2-run homer, and the Chicago White Sox snapped their American League record-tying losing streak at 21 games Tuesday night, beating the Oakland A's 5-1. Jonathan Cannon gave up a run over 6 innings in his ending his personal drought, while helping the White Sox to their first victory since early June.
And he swings. It's a towering pop fly, shallow left, and it'll be Benintendi to make the catch. And it's finally over. The White Sox 21-game losing streak is history.
Chicago Monday matched the longest losing streak since the 1988 Baltimore Orioles, who lost 21 in a row, falling to the A's 5-1. The NL record since 1900 is held by the 1961 Phillies, who lost 23 straight. The Major League low belongs to the 1889 Louisville Colonels, an American Association team that lost 26 consecutive games in the midst of a 27-111 season. Even with the victory, the White Sox did little celebrating. They exchanged high fives leaving the field, then had soft music playing in the clubhouse afterwards. Benintendi hit his second 2-run home run in 3 days off a fastball from A's starter Ross Stripling down the right field line into the stands in the 4th inning. Benintendi also doubled and scored in the 9th.
Pitch hit in the air deep to right toward the corner, and it is gone. A 2-run shot for Andrew Benintendi.
After Zach Geloff cut the lead in half with his 14th homer of the season in the 4th, the Sox scored twice in the 6th to pull away. Brooks Baldwin first scored on a wild pitch.
Vaughn takes up, the pitch is low and kicks to the backstop, and Baldwin will score. Vaughn all the way to third. It's 4-1.
Vaughn came in on an RBI single to hit an RBI single, that is, to make it 4-1.
1-2, line shot, right center base hit. Vargas is going to come around third and score. Baldwin will head to third. It's an RBI single for Vaughn to make it 3-1.
Cannon had been winless in 6 road starts this season. The rookie right-hander allowed 6 hits and 5 strikeouts with 2 walks for the win in his first start since July 10th. Luis Robert Jr. made a terrific leaping catch for Chicago.
3-1 is hit in the air out in the left center. Deep, Robert back. He's at the track. He leaps. He makes a catch. It would not have left the yard, but it would have been off the top of the wall.
Not with him out there.
Dominic Leone and Chad Kuhl retired all 6 batters they faced. John Brebbia pitched a 1-2-3 ninth to finish it off. Stripling allowed 4 runs and 5 hits in 5 1/3 innings. Lenine Sosa added to the lead in the 8th inning for Chicago.
Infield in, and there's a swing and a line drive out into right center, a base hit. Benintendi will score. Sosa with that tack on RBI makes it 5-1.
During warm-ups, Taylor Swift's song 22 played over the loudspeakers at the Coliseum in a taunting fashion as a crowd of 5,867 danced and sang along. Chicago, which had last won on July 10th in a doubleheader opener against Minnesota, moved to 28-88. The Sox have been held to 1 run or fewer over 32 games, or 1 run or none 32 times this season. Victor Scott and Tommy Pham each hit 2-run homers. Sonny Gray pitched 7 innings, and the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Tampa Bay Rays 4-3 Tuesday night in the opener of a 3-game series. Scott, who was recalled from AAA Memphis on Sunday, hit his first big league homer in the 4-run second inning. Pham, who was acquired from the Sox at the trade deadline, added a double in a 2-for-4 night. He has 4 multi-hit games in his 8 with the Cardinals since the deal. Brandon Lau hit a 2-run homer in the first inning for the Rays, who were visiting St. Louis for the first time since August 2017. The Cardinals had lost 4 of their previous 5 and 8 of 12. Gray gave up 4 hits and struck out 6, giving him 32 in his last 4 starts. He is 5-6 in 16 career appearances against the Rays. Ryan Helsley gave up a run in the 9th on a 2-out single by Johnny DeLuca after he allowed a leadoff walk and a single. He got Taylor Walls for the final out after a grounder deflected him to shortstop. Mason Wynn to end the game and earn his major league leading 35 saves and 38 chances. Tampa Bay's Jeffrey Springs pitched 5 innings in making his second start since his return from Tommy John surgery. He allowed 4 runs on 6 hits with 3 strikeouts and 3 walks. Lau crushed a hanging curveball 423 feet into the stands in right field after Yandy Diaz drew a leadoff walk in the first for a 2-0 lead. Scott sent a 2-1 fastball into the right field bullpen after Pedro Paje singled with 2 outs in the second. Wynn was hit by a pitch before Pham sent the first pitch he saw into the bullpen in left. Cardinals right-hander Eric Fetty will be making his second career start against the Rays. Earlier this season with the Sox, Fetty pitched a career-high 8 1/3 innings on April 28th, allowing 2 runs on 7 hits in a 4-2 win over the Rays. Shota Imanaga gave up 2 hits through 7 innings. Isaac Paredes hit a 3-run drive for his first homer with the Cubs as Chicago beat Minnesota 7-3 Tuesday night. Imanaga retired the first 10 batters he faced before issuing his only walk of the game, then gave up a 2-run homer to Royce Lewis, but the Cubs went on to end Minnesota's 5-game winning streak. The 30-year-old lefty struck out 10. 9 were swinging strikeouts to end to tie his career high. Imanaga credited his improvement on his split finger for the jump in strikeouts. The lefty has 30 in his last 4 starts. Paredes, acquired from Tampa Bay in a July 28th trade, finished with 2 hits and 4 RBIs. Dansby Swanson had 3 hits, including a run-scoring triple in the 6th to help the Cubs win for the 5th time in 7 games. Paredes entered batting just $111 with 3 hits in his first 7 with Chicago. Imanaga also yielded a double to rookie Brooks Lee with a gusty wind blowing in from center at Wrigley Field. Christian Vasquez hit a solo shot off reliever Drew Smiley in the 8th. Minnesota starter Pablo Lopez allowed 4 runs on 7 hits in 5 innings. The Twins fell 4 games back of the rained-out first-place Cleveland Guardians in the AL Central, but remained in the second AL wildcard spot. Paredes put Chicago ahead 3-0 in the first with his 17th homer of the season. Michael Busch, running with 2 outs, scored all the way from first on Paredes' bloop single in the 3rd to make it 4-0. Carlos Santana became the first Twins base runner when he walked with 1 out in the 4th. Lewis hit Imanaga's next pitch, a high fastball, to cut it to 4-2. Imanaga retired the next 5 before Lee doubled to lead off the 6th. The Cubs upped it to 6-2 in the 6th on Swanson's RBI triple to right center. Swanson scored on Randy Dobnik's wild pitch. Rookie Pete Crow Armstrong singled in a run in the 8th. Twins right-hander Joe Ryan and Cubs right-hander Javier Assad go at it in the series finale today. Get sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Cloudy skies expected